Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Maybe you found yourself searching for your glasses only to realize they were on your head the whole time? If you've had moments like that, you're not alone, and you're certainly not losing your mind. These little lapses happen to all of us, but when they start happening more often, it's natural to wonder, is this just age or is something more serious going on? After 70, one of the biggest worries that quietly creeps in for many of us is the fear of losing our memory, the fear of Alzheimer's. And it's not just about forgetting names or misplacing keys. It's the deeper worry of losing our connection to who we are, to our loved ones, to the stories and memories that shape our life. But here's something comforting and empowering. While aging is inevitable, how we age, especially how our minds age, is something we can influence. Science now shows that just like our bodies, our brains thrive with the right kind of exercise. And no, I'm not talking about math quizzes or crossword puzzles, although those can help too. I'm talking about simple, doable mental exercises that can keep your brain sharp, your thoughts clear, and your memories alive. In this video, we're going to explore 4 mental exercises that research suggests can actually protect your brain and help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. These aren't complicated, and they don't require special tools. All they need is your attention, your heart, and your willingness to keep growing. Because yes, even after 70, your brain is still capable of growing stronger. Let's begin with something you might not expect. One of the most powerful exercises for your brain is storytelling. Not listening to stories, but telling them, recalling moments from your past and sharing them out loud with someone else. Think of the last time you sat down with your grandchild and told them about your first job, or the day you met your spouse, or even a funny moment from school. When you do that, your brain lights up in ways similar to solving puzzles or learning new skills. That's because storytelling activates memory, language, emotion, and imagination all at once. And it doesn't even have to be dramatic. It can be something as simple as remembering the smell of your mother's cooking or the way your hometown looked when you were a child. The more details you try to bring to life, the better. These memories are like pathways in the brain, and when you walk them regularly, you keep them strong. In fact, studies show that people who regularly reminisce in meaningful ways tend to have sharper memory recall and a lower risk of cognitive decline. So talk, share, even if it's just with a friend, a neighbor, or your own reflection in the mirror. Your brain loves it when you tell your story. Now let's move to something that might sound deceptively simple, learning something new. You may be thinking, at my age, what more do I need to learn? But here's the magic. Your brain doesn't stop being curious just because you've turned 70. It still craves novelty. And when you give it that, it responds beautifully. Learning a new skill doesn't mean going back to school or studying for exams. It could be picking up a musical instrument you always loved but never had time to learn, or trying your hand at watercolor painting, or gardening, or even learning how to use a new app on your phone. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be new. The act of learning rewires your brain and strengthens neural connections. Think of it like giving your brain a fresh breeze of air. And don't underestimate the small things. Trying a new recipe, learning a few words in another language, or even changing your usual route on a daily walk. All of these stimulate areas of the brain that are linked to memory, attention, and processing. When you learn something new, you remind your brain that it's still alive, still expanding, still capable. That sense of progress is powerful. It gives you a sense of purpose, and that's one of the most protective things for mental health at any age. So maybe today's the day you finally try that hobby you've always been curious about. Not because you have to, but because your brain deserves a little adventure. And who knows, you might just surprise yourself with how good it feels. As we continue exploring, I want you to remember something important. None of this is about fixing what's broken. It's about nurturing what still works and strengthening it. Your brain has served you for decades. It's held your memories, your laughter, your tears, your life's most sacred moments. It's not too late to give back to it, to nourish it with care, just like you'd water a plant that's still growing, still reaching toward the light. Now that you've seen how something as beautiful as telling your story, or as refreshing as learning something new can nourish your mind, let's keep going. Because there's another exercise, perhaps one you've never heard described quite this way, that taps into the emotional core of your brain. And it just might be the most powerful one yet. Because this next one touches something deeper than facts or logic. It speaks to the heart. And the heart and brain are more connected than most people think. I'm talking about practicing gratitude. That's right. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good emotion. It's actually a powerful mental exercise that shapes how your brain functions over time. Let me ask you something. Have you ever ended your day thinking about everything that went wrong? The ache in your knee, the news on TV, the friend who forgot to call? It's easy to let those things take over. But what happens when instead you pause and think about one thing? Just one that made you smile that day? Maybe the warmth of your coffee in the morning, or the way your pet looked at you, or the voice of your granddaughter on the phone. That simple shift trains your brain to notice what's good, and it rewires your mental patterns in a protective way. Research shows that gratitude boosts serotonin and dopamine, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals, and over time, it strengthens the regions of the brain involved in memory, emotion regulation, and attention. In fact, people who regularly engage in gratitude exercises show lower rates of depression, better sleep, and yes, better memory retention. It's almost like gratitude gives your mind a little cushion, helping it stay resilient even when life gets tough. And it doesn't take much. You don't have to write a novel or give a speech. You can simply think of 3 things you're grateful for before you go to bed, or say them out loud while brushing your teeth. You can write them down in a notebook, or even say them as a prayer. It's the consistency that counts. The act of slowing down, reflecting, and appreciating, it tells your brain, this matters, keep this. I know sometimes it can feel like there's less to be thankful for as we get older. Maybe there are people you miss, things you can't do the way you used to. But there's still beauty around you. There's still breath in your lungs, thoughts in your mind, stories yet to be lived. Focusing on what still remains, is a quiet kind of strength. And strength, as it turns out, is very good for the brain. Now let's talk about something a bit more interactive. Something that might surprise you because it doesn't always feel like a mental exercise at all. And yet, it's one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your brain. I'm talking about real, meaningful conversation. Not just small talk about the weather or the grocery list, but honest, open conversation. Conversations where you share ideas, ask questions, reflect on the past, laugh, maybe even debate a little. When you do that, your brain lights up. Language, memory, emotional processing, attention, they're all firing together. And this kind of social interaction is deeply protective against Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. You see, loneliness is more than a feeling. It actually changes the brain. Studies have found that chronic loneliness can lead to faster cognitive decline, higher rates of dementia, and poorer memory. But the flip side is just as true. Social connection, even in small doses, helps your brain stay active and alive. That doesn't mean you have to be surrounded by people every day. It could be a regular phone call with a friend, a chat with the neighbor, or even joining an online group where people your age discuss things that matter to them. And if you're someone who prefers quiet or has limited mobility, don't worry. Conversation can take many forms. You could even talk to yourself while working through a memory, or record your voice talking about your day. The important part is expression, letting your thoughts out, organizing them, and giving them voice. There's something deeply healing about being heard, and your brain knows it. The more you connect, the more your mental muscles stretch and grow. And like any other muscle, they get stronger with use. If you've ever had a good conversation and felt energized after, that's your brain thanking you. That's your neurons getting a workout, building bridges between memories and emotions and language. And it's never too late to start. Whether you're 70, 80, or 95, your brain can still form new connections. All it needs is a little spark, and conversation is a wonderful spark. So as you think about your days, ask yourself, who can I talk to today, even just for a few minutes? Who can I ask about their life and share a bit of mine in return? Because those moments are more than social. They're mental vitamins. And the best part is, These exercises don't require any special training. You don't need a doctor's prescription. You already have everything you need: your voice, your story, your presence, and your willingness to keep showing up for your mind. Every time you tell a memory, learn something new, count your blessings, or connect with someone, you're not just passing time. You're defending your mind, nurturing your thoughts, and protecting what makes you. The truth is, aging isn't just about managing decline. It's about discovering what's still possible. And your mind, even now, is capable of incredible things. Let's keep going. There's one more practice that's often overlooked because it doesn't look like exercise. Not physical, not mental in the traditional sense, but the effect it has on the brain is powerful. It's something as simple and as profound as mindfulness. Now, I know that word can sound trendy or even vague, but stick with me for a moment. Mindfulness isn't about sitting cross-legged or chanting anything strange. It's about being present, being fully where you are, with your thoughts, your breath, and your awareness right here in this moment. Not lost in yesterday, not racing toward tomorrow. And that's a skill. In fact, it's a kind of brain training. When you practice mindfulness, even for just a few minutes a day, you're strengthening the parts of your brain responsible for memory, emotional regulation, and focus. It's like you're clearing away the mental clutter and dusting off the shelves so your most important thoughts have room to breathe. You don't need anything fancy to do it. Just a quiet moment, maybe while sitting on the porch, sipping your tea, or even lying in bed. You can simply notice your breath going in and out. You don't have to control it, just observe it. You might notice the sounds around you, the rustle of leaves, a distant voice, your heartbeat. The key is to gently bring your attention back to this moment every time your mind drifts away, and it will drift. That's okay. Bringing it back is the real exercise. This quiet act of returning again and again, it rewires your brain. Studies show that seniors who practice mindfulness regularly have better cognitive function, lower stress levels, and even thicker brain tissue in areas that are usually vulnerable to aging and Alzheimer's. That's not just nice, it's extraordinary. And what's even more beautiful is how mindfulness invites peace. It allows you to sit with your life as it is, not wishing it were different, not regretting what's past, but appreciating what's here, right now, this breath, this thought, this day. So if you ever feel overwhelmed or forgetful or just mentally foggy, try pausing. Just for a minute, close your eyes, breathe, listen. That moment of stillness might do more for your brain than an hour of worry ever could. Now, if we step back and look at all these exercises, storytelling, learning something new, practicing gratitude, connecting through conversation, and cultivating mindfulness, it becomes clear that the best way to care for your brain isn't to treat it like a machine. It's to treat it like a garden. A living, breathing, beautiful garden that flourishes with attention, connection, curiosity, and love. And you, right now at this stage of life, you are still the gardener. It's not too late. You're not too old. Your brain is still listening to what you give it. It still responds to joy, to challenge, to connection. And when you give it what it needs, it responds in kind, with clarity, resilience, and strength. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to memorize books or master a new language overnight. Just keep showing up. Keep planting seeds. Keep watering your mind with things that nourish it. Small daily actions that make you feel alive and connected. You might be surprised by how much of a difference it makes. How much sharper you feel after telling an old story. How much lighter your heart feels after a conversation. How your sleep improves after a moment of gratitude. These aren't just little habits, they're lifelines. Threads that hold your mental fabric together and keep it from unraveling with age. And remember, this isn't about fear. It's not about avoiding Alzheimer's by living in anxiety. It's about embracing the gift of your mind and treating it with care, because it has carried you through so much, through love and loss, through success and struggle, through decades of memories that no one else in the world can claim as their own. Your story matters, your presence matters, and what you do today can ripple forward into the weeks, months, and years to come. So as you finish watching this video, I want you to carry something with you, a sense of hope, a sense of possibility, and a reminder that the most important thing you can do for your brain isn't complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require equipment or permission. It just requires you. The you who still wants to grow, who still wants to remember, who still has something to give to this world. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what mental exercise you're going to try this week, or just say hello, because even a comment can be a connection. And that matters too. And if you found this helpful, please give the video a like. It helps more people find it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more warm, practical advice on living well and staying sharp at every stage of life. Here's to your health, your memories, your stories, and your strength. Here's to living your best life at any age.